Hello and welcome to Queer Abbey, a weekly chat show that is performed, recorded, and produced by yours truly. Hi y'all, welcome to the 8th episode of Queer Abbey. And isn't it a good day to be a whore? I think so. I have a career doing studio porn, and yeah, you, if you so desire, can seek that out. I have an OnlyFans that you can subscribe to, so yeah, that's something that I feel like I want to bear proudly in my life. I decided a couple of years ago that I would, have my foray into doing sex work because I needed money to put myself through school, and I also enjoy it. I feel pretty gratified when I make content, or it's, sometimes it's art for me that is beautiful. Yeah. A photograph of myself or a video even that features my body in a way that I'm the medium of the art is so exciting and creatively fulfilling for me. I've done scenes where I'm like swathed in rose petals. I've done scenes in creeks where I'm wearing like beautiful slips and enthralling cows. All sorts of really fun and creative things. But yeah, I did a lovely scene yesterday. Sometimes I make porn with this studio where it's just me, and sometimes it's me making these films with someone else. And yeah, so that's a part of my life that I am sometimes reticent to talk about, but I would like to avoid being shameful about on principle of the fact that I really think there's nothing wrong with doing adult work. Yeah. Yay. It's intriguing to me that in the United States, we value hard work in a really hollow sense. Like, the actual labor of people's occupation doesn't really factor into it. It's the type of person and how much we appreciate the labor that they're doing, how visible they are. Like, we love to goad on police officers and other types of roles that are usually occupied by men, not entirely, but in opposition to things like doing porn or being a dancer at a club that some people see as immoral, which is a long conversation. I think people, in a succinct explanation, people see sex work as immoral because of their own shame. They don't know how to wear it on their chest, and so the only way that they can live with that shame is by placing it onto other people. It must be their fault because I feel this way, and that's just the cornerstone of it. But I think it makes me feel very powerful that for better or for worse, I make people feel some sort of way. Another thing that makes me feel powerful is acrylic nails. Incoming sound. ASMR episode. Oh no, that's probably too loud. But anyway, so good. Nails are like little extensions of your body in the best way possible. They click and they clack and they... I have kind of short little pink nails right now because I wanted something very elegant and feminine for this scene that I was shooting. And let me be very vulnerable on this day. Bite the fuck out of my fingernails, and so that's another reason that acrylics make me feel so much better about myself, because the juxtaposition between my nod on nasty fingernails with no acrylics and then the lovely fingernails that I have after I go get them done is astounding. But when they're this short, I call them lid flippers. I don't know, because I can still like kind of get them under a little can tab and pop it. Whereas if you have really long nails, they kind of have less stability the longer they are, so you don't want to like be sticking them under things and like using them as leverage because they can snap and that sucks. So yeah, little lid flippers. When you do things like sex work or anything regarding your appearance, I would imagine, I mean, if you're really making money doing modeling or anything like that, you see it as an investment. It's as if you were buying office chairs for your business when I go get my acrylic nails done, because if I'm going to have an extremely high fidelity photograph of myself shared on several platforms, I would love to have a polished, manicure and a pedicure and make sure my entire body looks the way that I want it to. I don't think that any sort of standard ideal needs to be presented for anything to be sexy. There is 1,000,001 different types of sexy, and I am at least 6 or 7 of those. So yeah, nails, they do a body good. I won't lie though, one of the more challenging parts about this scene was coming to terms with how my body has changed over time and how my perception of my body is changing as I'm accepting a transition in my life regarding my gender. So that was a lot of words, but like basically I've gained weight. That's something that's different from when I started doing porn when I was 21. I am looking back at pictures of myself recently and I didn't even realize how snatched my little body was. It's disgusting. I said, "You skinny little bitch." But my follow-up whenever I remember how skinny I've been in the past is that I probably just wasn't feeding myself very well because of poverty. So it's a good thing, actually, that I have been gaining weight. And also, in order for me to grow boobies, I need to have some fat. So you know what? We're going through our chunky Botticelli, Zaftig, plus size era. And that's great. So yay! For those of you who would be, interested, I don't mean to cross-promote too much right now. This podcast is its own thing, but yeah, I'd love for you to go check that shoot out. I have a Twitter page that you could go find via my website if you really want to, wilsonsucksatSinging.com. So yay, but you must be 18 years old. You cannot be a minor and go look at these things. So fair warning. Thank you. You should actually be 18 or older to be listening to this podcast anyway. But Lord knows the devilish and awful things that I was getting up to at the tender age of like 14. So, yay. Adults, go look at my porn. I think there is a really big misconception that people have about how much money you make doing porn. There is a spectrum to it, just like anything. It does pay well because there is such a air of compromise about it. So there's sort of a baseline expectation of a decent amount of pay, but that's not always the case, and more often than would it be good, people get taken advantage of. And I think people are sold the idea of like exposure, or maybe think that they're going to get more of a residual income than is possible for them from doing studio porn. But that's actually why the advent of OnlyFans is so, I don't know why it's stuck around and why it's been such a big thing for sex workers and people who are interested in making porn, even just at home, is it puts that power into their hands where they can have the residual income. It's very similar to music, where there's a contractual element. You're creating media that is owned by a party, and you sign an extensive contract when you make studio porn with, an entity that's providing all of the video equipment, and there might be, many people on a set that are all working to create this product that's going to be owned by this company. And that's sort of just understood, or maybe not, by the models. And the implication of this is that the models don't make a residual income from this product, right? Because they don't own the video when it's done. They do get paid upfront to make it. That's the basis of it. It would be rare for an actor in a porn film, unless they were also part of the studio, to have any sort of intellectual rights to the product. I'm sure there are exceptions to this, but that's generally how it works. When you film your own video for OnlyFans, you have to jump through all of the hoops by yourself, but they make it pretty doable. It's, like anything else. Like, if you want to, you can figure it out. And then you get all of the residual income. OnlyFans is the hosting service, and there are other sites just like OnlyFans. It's not the only one, but it's the most recognizable. It just takes a small, not a small fee, it's actually like 20%, but they take a good amount of money in order to host this service, but you keep the rest of it, which is a lot more to say than what you get for a studio film over time. So most people do both. That way you get the handsome payment for doing studio shoots. You can pay your rent with that, and then you get the residual income from doing OnlyFans, which can actually be quite a lot of money if you have a lot of little subscribers. So yeah, that's a little insight into how people make money doing porn. It's kind of similar to music, and it really just depends on your business acumen. That's what it's about. If you can make good judgments regarding if you're getting paid well, and if you are able to market yourself well. It's not necessarily easy, but these are the things that allow you to get paid handsomely for showing your tits on the internet. And with that, let's get to the advice segment for this week. Alrighty. The first submission this week is as follows. Queer Abby. How do you actually stop using your phone? I feel like I delete apps, get them back, have detox days, and do all the common advice, but I still feel like I want to check it all the time. Well, anonymous person who's addicted to using your phone, I can relate to some degree. I don't think I'm as severely addicted to my phone as some people that I know or that I see in my life, but we all have that temptation. It's really, that's what it is your phone has a lot of temptation in there. It's a little magic box that's like, hey, play games. Ooh, look at porn. Ooh, you want to swipe on Tinder? Yeah. It's a little just temptuous little bastard. And so anything that you can do to mitigate those things that you feel like you need to be doing on your phone instead of something that you've decided is more productive, mitigate it. You can turn your notifications off if you have an iPhone. I don't know about other things. I just know what I know. But if you go into your notification settings in your iPhone, you can go to specific apps and turn the notifications off. And so I find that to be really helpful. I recently kind of tailored everything so that like Duolingo is like the only thing that's allowed to annoy me about using it, and obviously like my text messages and other things that are important. But I don't need like Facebook notifications on my phone. I can check that at my leisure. So notifications are inherently thwarting your sense of focus, and if you're not looking at your phone and seeing like I need to check this, then that's going to be quite a lot easier. So deleting the apps is like a little extreme. This is an addiction, and just like any other addiction, you need to figure out what it's doing for you. Clearly you want to use these apps, and so figuring out why and when a good time would be to use them is the key to finding balance in the situation, probably. Yeah, because like it's okay to use your phone, my friend, but clearly there's some sort of sense of imbalance that you have. So trick yourself. Try to forget that you have notifications at all. Being delusional is always the answer. All right. Easy answer. Next one. The second submission this week is as follows. Queer Abby. Aw, how do you love yourself? I feel my love toward myself is so artificial and fake. Well, that's hard to read, my friend. Loving yourself seems like it would just be this one-sided continuum and like you just learn how to do it, right? But it's obviously more complicated than that. Oh, I have no idea who you are, but you should lower your standards. You know, it's really okay to not be a perfect person. Having love for yourself is something that you deserve to do. You deserve to take good care of yourself and to be kind to yourself. And it just is. You get to do that for yourself in life. And it's okay if that doesn't just come super easily. You can learn. That's part of the journey of life. It's a funny way to put it, but lowering your standards, truly. Like, you don't need to reach some unattainable goal to start loving yourself. I think maybe if you could direct your attention to embracing the things that are in your life, you know, and maybe finding some appreciation for them. When I'm feeling down, I fucking hate to hear people talk about gratitude or try to get me to be more grateful for things, but it does ultimately help to find gratitude for things. If you have the phone to be listening to Spotify, to this podcast, and you submitted anonymous advice, then hopefully there are enough good things going on in your life that you can look around at them and find some contentment. I hope that you're well, anonymous listener. That's a little bit of a harrowing message, but you'll be okay. And because I had a kind of low amount of submissions this week, I'm going to leave it at 2 for now. And we are going to wrap up our advice segment for this week. Thank you. Thank you to those of you who have contributed to the podcast this week and submit to the anonymous inbox or the email or phone number. This is your reminder that you can submit using the link in the episode description. That's the anonymous inbox that you can just type your little submission and hit send, and it won't give me any of your info. You can also send an email to queerabby@gmail.com. That's queerabby@gmail.com, or even leave us a voicemail at 503-567-2053. Yeah. So please submit and be featured on the podcast. I'll give you my unwarranted advice. I love good old funky music, and we should start getting riled up and excited because I have a lovely musical spotlight for you this week. It is going to be featuring a local band called Family Warship Center. I know several of the folks that are in this band. I've seen them live a few different times, and they absolutely rock. It's like a southern rock, soul, funk kind of sound. It's very densely textured. One of my favorite things about Family Warship Center is that they have so many people that they bring on stage to perform. It's a huge group. Some of my friends in Family Worship are Marley and Andy and Allison, but there's like, gosh, a bunch of them. They're truly like a whole family, and their gig is that they're like a cult, kind of like a cult of good vibrations. They have lovely, cool costumes and some really cool music that you can check out on their Spotify, which is also going to be linked below. Once again, my very talented friend Katie Waterland also did some background vocals and helped with the writing on this song. The specific track that I chose is called Stella from Family Warship Center's album Kicked Out of the Garden, which is their most recent album release. You've got keys, saxophone, background vocals, guitar, bass, drums, and a bunch of people screaming and jumping up and down. So Family Worship Center shows, in my experience, have been really fun. Yay! So without further ado, this is going to be Stella by Family Worship Center.
She took him back to South Dakota, and metal folks like you're supposed to do. Name the first dog after mama. Yeah, when a mama died, name the next one mama too. When a mama died, name the next one mama too.
That's me licking my fingers because they ate that. It's such a groovy sound. It really does make you want to do that slow headbang. I think it's the combination of the brass with the nice rich drums and some soulful vocals with a little subtle harmony behind it. All of that comes together to weave this nice soulful kind of sound. Yeah, so good job, y'all, at Family Warship Center. As a friend of the cult, I'm very proud of this album, and I would encourage everybody to go give it a listen, please. Yay! Well, this episode is, just a tad bit short, but Mama's tired. If you can't tell from the dopey cadence of my voice, it's nighttime and I've had a beer, so I'm going to just call it right there. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.